All right, we live in a world where we're fascinated by people doing things at a certain age when they're supposed to not be doing things at a certain age. And you've heard a lot about that guy on the left, Tom Brady. Remarkable football player, 44 years old, and he's still saying, you know, I could play right till I'm 50. Well, he'd have a record to beat when it comes to that other fellow on the right. I'm talking about Iowa's Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, who just announced he's going to run for an eighth term at the young age of 88. Senator,
thank you.
Good to have you, and congratulations. You could have just sort of sat back, retired, take it easy. You decided not to. Why?
Well, I gave it a little more thought this time than I have past, but family are important, my kids are important, wife's important. But I heard so much from the people of Iowa at the state fair, my county meetings. You know, I go to each one of the 99 counties every year for a Q&A with my constituents. And then at the football games, tailgating, et cetera, et cetera. I heard from Iowans, we need your common sense in Washington. And you've heard me say Washington's an island surrounded by reality. I'm kind of glad to bring the common sense of the Midwest back to Washington, D.C.
Well, you've heard it from your opponents in the past, Senator, when you were a much younger man at 82 or younger than that at 76. So this guy's too old. You need young, fresh blood, and you've beaten him back every time. The campaign against you right now is already going in that direction. So what do you say to your doubters who say, too old?
I heard the same thing in 2016 when I was 81 or 2. And here I am. And so I'm saying to them, I heard that same thing 6 years ago, and here I am. I'm ready to go. I get to the office at 6 in the morning. In fact, this morning I got there at 4 minutes to 6. We leave about 6:30. I go to bed at 9, get up at 4, go 2 miles. This morning, I have to confess, I only went 1.5 miles because I got a booster shot yesterday, and I don't feel quite up to it. But anyway, that's my life, and I'm very vigorous and can handle the job. And besides, there's a lot of good bills that still have to be paid. I want to get down prescription drugs. I want to control the border. I want to do something about fair prices for cattle in Iowa for the farmers, things like that.
No, I had no doubt. When I did a Washington, I tried to keep up with you, and forget it, I couldn't do it. Of course, that's not a badge of honor, Senator. I'm not exactly, well, you know, Tom Brady. But leaving that aside, you know, when you first came to the Senate, I was doing the rough math. We didn't have a debt like this. I think it might have been around $3 to $5 trillion. And here we are staring down the tunnel at $30 trillion. And we're on the brink again, a possible shutdown again. What do you think of all that?
In the first year of the Reagan administration, probably the first time I voted to increase the debt limit, it was the first time it was $1 trillion. And we should have started back there to do that. Now, I've almost forgot your question. Could you restate it, please?
Well, are you worried about that? In just your time here, under Republican presidents, Democratic presidents, Republican Congresses, Democratic Congress, the debt just explodes. It's going to explode again, and nothing and no one is doing anything about it.
Okay. We Republicans in the United States are doing something about it, and we're following Democratic former Secretary of Treasury Larry Summers in January and then again in April. He said, you're spending too much money. You're throwing gasoline on the fires of inflation. So stop it. And we agree with that. You know how high inflation is. And this additional money is just going to get us back to the 1970s on inflation. So that's why we're concerned about it by not backing this $6 trillion that this administration wants to add to the national debt and things of that nature.
Tomorrow they want to vote on this infrastructure-only package. Would you vote for that? I mean, this is the issue right now for the House, but would you vote for that?
Well, let's put it this way. They're talking about adding some things other than just a continuing resolution to keep the government going.
Right.
I don't want to shut down the government, but what's that extra stuff they're putting in? One thing that we're certain of, that we won the case on Monday when we didn't let them put in the debt limit into the continuing resolution. And the reason we didn't do that is all of this spending is just Democrat spending. They don't even have Republicans at the table to negotiate with them. They want to go this direction. Republicans have taken care of through the debt limit of last year for what debt was accumulated in the Trump administration. We don't want this outrageous, irresponsible tax and spending that's in this bill. And so that's how we're helping the issue you have. And maybe with Manchin and Sinema, and they say there's 5 or 6 other Democrats that just don't want to talk about it, that may be glad that Manchin and Sinema are leading the halt to this drive on the part of Democrats to spend $6 trillion. It seems to me that that they ought to be applauded for that, and maybe they won't get the job done.
Do you think the government's going to shut down, Senator?
No. No. It costs money to shut the government down. It costs money to open the government up. Why would you do that? Now, we have done it in the past.
Well, it's happened before. It's happened before, Senator.
Yes. Yes. As recently as 2011 and 2013, I believe.
And in that time, we had our debt downgraded in 2011, not so much because the government had shut down, but because of the process. No. Do you worry about that real quickly, that we're going to lose our financial respect?
If we increase the debt limit, the Democrats are going to have to do that, and they will do it. They just don't want people to know this money they're spending, and then we won't shut the government down. We don't have to worry about the credit rating of the United States being affected.
All right, we shall see what happens. Chuck Grassley, stay young, going for an 8th term as a senator from Iowa.